Hello? Okay, I think we have it working now. Okay, I think everything is running. I think I also do not need the main live stream view. So I've got my chat. I think I've got OBS all set up. We will create a new project. So I'm going to use an empty project for this. I'm going to call this engine. Boring name, but it will work for now. Right. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is we can turn off the manual like filtered view. I don't know. I don't like it personally. Um, we're gonna make a source/main.cpp file. Get that running. Cool. Now we can tweak all of our settings. Gonna switch this to all and all. We're gonna enable the manifest mode. We're gonna use static libraries, and we are gonna use the dynamic CRT. That means we won't have a bunch of build errors between mismatch of the run times, and it also means we can still have it statically link the VCPKG packages. In general, I'm going to add project die include. I'm also going to add project dir itself, and in case we need it, vendor. We probably won't ever need it, but it's there if we need it. If we do want to interact with any Windows APIs, um, we are going to use the multi-byte character set. I don't think we will, but it's there in case. Um, just getting a warning. The stream's current bitrate is low. I am not getting any warnings, which means that it is genuinely just set low. It wants me to use 6800. Okay, 1 second, guys. Ah, okay, never mind. If I stop it, apparently it kills the stream. You know what, we'll try it. It's not worth messing up. Right, hopefully we're back. I'm going to use C++20. And I'm also just going to check that the stream is at least somewhat back. It is. Cool. So we now have we have our project running, we have the stream running. That's good going in my opinion. So have we got anything else we need to do? Not really. One thing I will do is add dash slash dash UTF dash A, which means we can use one of our we can use the logging library without any errors. For some reason it needs UTF-8 support. We're actually using the multi-byte character set here, so it probably won't even do anything. But it wants it, so what can I say? If we just open up this, and we look for IMGUI, no, SPU log. Let's see, is there? So we could probably enable this to disable UTF-8. Let's take a look at FMT. It's probably one of FMT's. I think it is one of. Okay, FMT has no feature flags, so we can't actually disable it. So that's cool. That's cool. Let's make a new project and name it testbed. Testbed. Dump it in there, do the same, give it similar treatment, name the file wrong, fix the file name. Okay, so let's go to properties and let's not use any. I think if we add a reference to exchange to the engine, then hopefully it will sort itself out. And then what we need to do under here is we shouldn't have a vendor folder in this one. We should have the project directory, and then we should have the solution, and then we should append engine include. So there we go. Now we're including from testbed and the engine's include directory. Let's go for C plus 20. To be fair, testbed, it's actually quite possible. We interact with Windows. Yeah, we probably won't still, but it's worth having it. We shouldn't. Let's add it just in case. Um, so this engine, unfortunately, is now going to target Windows. It wasn't originally, but I've decided to make the move to just target Windows and add Linux support later on if we need it. I do want to add Linux support though. So let's make an include directory, and let's say engine.h engine.h. Let's make a pcs.h. Let's make a pcs.cpp. Let's make this entire thing use the precompiled file, precompiled header. So it's pcs.h. Set pcs.cpp to create instead of use. And then we should be nearly ready. So let's get our dependencies rolling. Open terminal. And to set up VCPKG, it's relatively simple. If we look at the overview, you can scroll through, get started, MS Build and Visual Studio, and you can see, so you don't actually need to do this bit. This bit is actually done by Visual Studio now. So as long as you set up Visual Studio 2022, it will be on by default. But you do need to run this command in a terminal. And then all of a sudden Visual Studio, when you restart it, will know about VCPKG and you'll be happy. Hopefully. So let's VCPKG dash application. And if we reload the files over here, you can see we now have VCPKG.data. It's empty at the moment, so let's do VCPKG add port IMGUI. Yes. Okay, so what flags do we want? We want docking dash experimental. And I'm going to try something. Let's try OpenGL through this one. Can I add multiple ones? Oh, I can. Okay, that's revolutionary. There we go. We have all the flags we need. Let's add SPD log for logging, glfw3 for opening a window, managing context. What else do we need? Glad, we need Glad, and we need gl-api-46, let's support the latest OpenGL API. And I think that's us happy. So you can see it's, oh, we're looking for module dependencies, that's interesting. We don't actually have any. VCPKG is now kicking off and installing everything in static mode. It should go pretty quick for me because I've already done that. However, we do have errors. So let's go to this file and include gch.h. And then this is going to be missing out in some files. Let's just return 0 here for now. Let's go to this engine.h. Let's include pcs.h. And we should be getting somewhat close to contentness. Let's rename this to the correct file extension. I'm just a bit silly and named it the wrong thing. Let's include engine.h. This should be engine.h and build. Right, okay, so we're missing a main. Why is that? Because this should be a library. So let's ditch that and switch that to .lib. So that's a statically linked library on Windows. So if we now make a function called let's even namespace it in engine. Let's say void hello. Let's using namespace here. I know it's generally frowned upon, but we're in a C++ file, so it's not a big deal. If we were in a .h file, absolutely forbidden. Don't do that. But in one of these files, it's not so bad. Right. So let's make a void hello. Let's spd log info. So let's jump over here and include spd log. let's also just grab if def Win32. I'll try and keep it like somewhat cross-platform. I'll try my best, but like it's not a focus at the moment, if you get what I mean. So we will only include Windows on Windows platforms. We probably don't even need it, but I just like having it there in case we do. Um, let's include imgui.h. Yep, Copilot's got our back. Copilot's still got our back. Let's define glfw include none. That's because glad actually includes everything we need in terms of OpenGL. And sometimes formatters will switch these two lines around and everything works. So that's quite upsetting. We do need GLM. I forgot to install that. Copilot is absolutely correct. Once again, how's our back? That is not what I meant to do. We need to fix that manually because I have just messed it up. As you can see, I accidentally did that. Cool. Um, so let's build again. We'll probably get an error, but at least VCPKG will sort itself out. It's now installing GLM, which will sort out this error here. In the meantime, we can include some more. We don't need anything more than that. We don't have a STB image, and we probably won't need it at all. We will. Mm, let's include FMC just in case. I mean, SVG logs should probably include it for us, but it's best to include it ourselves. Let's pop into the key. For some reason, our C++ file has disappeared. Let's make a new one. Let's include pcs.h and then engine/engine.h engine hello. Yep, Copilot has once gone got us. We got static return type. Hopefully, if we do include engine/engine.h, and then we don't actually need that, but let's keep it there for now. If we run this, hopefully, okay, so it's saying we have two engine.cpps. That is actually very strange, but yeah. Okay, let's just reload the files. I don't see it. Let's hop into files, but not inside. We have one engine.cpp. Let's try cleaning the solution and then rebuild. Okay. We actually don't have two, so I think this is just Visual Studio having virtual file system troubles. Well, not really virtual file system, but it's close to virtual file system. Let's just take a look. Right, we are compiling x64/engine.cpp. Interesting. Let's not do that. That just sounds like a bad idea. Let's try running again. Okay, engine. That makes sense. Let's set testbed as the default project. And we actually can fix that because every time someone's going to open our project, that will happen for them, which can get quite annoying. So let's see. I can never remember how to. Yeah, let's just use command prompt then. Um, so we have two projects in here. If we just do that, all of a sudden, when someone opens our project, they will be the right way around, and testbed will be the default project instead of engine, which will make it just so much nicer for people to open our project, be able to press run, and it should just work. So we are still having more errors at the moment, but that's fine. It's to be expected. We haven't actually got our project running once yet. So we already have project there included. So we already have rpch.h. So let's just think about it for a minute. What's happening? It's because we don't have the actual engine included. We have the engine does include folder only. So let's just add. Actually, I don't like how that looks. So let's just pop this back open. shove that in there, and then let's remove include from this one because I think it looks neater. You might disagree, but okay. So we are failing to include PCs.h. So this one's a bit tricky. There's a couple ways to do this. None of them are very good, to be honest with you. So the problem is that we need this include directory, and it's in a different project, which is obviously a bit of a problem. Um, yeah. So our choices aren't that great. What we could do is we could just delete testbed and make the main project. In fact, let's not delete testbed. Let's remove it and let's turn this into the main executable. So yeah. Um, and let's make a main.cpp. So what was happening there was that we had a separate project, and Engine knows where the VCPG stuff is, but everything else does not, and it is pretty horrible to solve that. So let's include Engine, and hopefully this time when we run it, we're all happy. It's just a little bit of weirdness from MS Build. There are ways around it. As I said, we could manually set debug and release profiles so that it automatically includes it. It's a mess though. I'd rather just have the main.cpp as part of Engine. It's not really worth the hassle. Not technically correct, but up to you what you think about it. So let's make a window class. Let's also make a engine class. Now we might want to possibly delete. I'm not actually sure if we can delete the namespace and have other stuff using namespace that's the same as the class. Superhost might get a bit angry. So let's just have this. Okay. Let's have a static engine, and this will just give us an instance of the engine. Now we could actually do that, which means that we know for sure that get instance returns a valid value and we don't have to use the dereference syntax, but it does lead to a little bit of confusion on the API end, and also it's a more modern C++ feature, but we are targeting modern C++, so it's a bit of a trade-off here in terms of what we do. So 1 second. So let's just yeah, okay, so I do prefer this because it's modern C++. Let's go ahead with it. Delete copy, remove assignment, basically so that we can't mess around with the singleton. What's the error here? Because we don't have the default constructor. There's public. There we go. Let's just private these so that you can't even access them along with the constructor because we don't want people constructing engine. You just look a bit silly if you do that. So let's just go back into public. Singleton hide. Yep. So this is actually going to help our performance a little bit as well because it means that I'm not going to shoot myself in the foot and accidentally copy this or do something silly, which is pretty hard to reference. I mean, it's quite impressive if I manage to do it anyway, but better safe than sorry, you know? Um, okay, so we do have an issue here. It's not great. So when you first call this function, we need to do some things. And also this looks really messy now. So maybe we should rename the engine. Learning. This engine is for people to learn with, so let's name it Learning Engine. Let's make this in the learning namespace. Public. None of this is actually true, but let's leave the boilerplate. Let's get rid of that. This can be a default constructor for now. This can be a default constructor for now. That can go because it doesn't exist. And then let's just go back to engine. Let's include all of our files. So we now have a window. Okay, so we have an instance. We have a window. You could say that's good enough. But the problem is that we can actually look at what's happening here. When we run this, okay, we can't run it yet. What's happening? Engine.h, line 8. Line 8, that's because we don't include engine. At least the important file. We don't include window. Right, and then line 4. Let's just get rid of this for now. We don't need that. So let's run. So you can see we haven't printed anything yet. That's fine. I really think we will. If we look at engine, okay, we can't actually look into it. That's quite disappointing. Okay, we can. So you can see we have a window now. But the problem is that when we call this learning engine get instance, this we don't control. We construct a window, and if we don't construct a window manually and we don't give those parameters to the user, then the user can't choose the title of the window. So there's a couple of ways we can do this. We could have an engine config. And we can do some things with this. We can have a static. Nothing's really a good solution here, though. Yeah, nothing's great here, to be honest with you. Let's make this a singleton as well. The thing I want to avoid is having to pass parameters to get instance every time. That would just be a bit silly, to be honest with you. We might as well make this list and ditch public. Config. Oh, this is becoming interesting. Let's just do that. And then we can do that. Let's also change this to that, to a reference instead of a pointer. Let's ditch this for a reference. I said a reference, I said a reference, I said a reference. And then we can just configure it. Okay. And then let's hide our constructors, all of that stuff, because we don't want people constructing them, because that's a bit silly. Let's replace this with our new API, our new wonderful, wonderful API. Okay, and then we can actually abstract this away further to config.h, and let's just dump this config out of here. So if I just do that, you can see we now have this in our page buffer. We can namespace this into learning. Shove that in there, shove that in there, include PCH, and everything should sort itself out. And then in engine, we just have to include the config. And I know it doesn't seem like it's solved, but it is basically. Also, I would like to move this company here. It's quite frustrating. It looks out of place. So let's go into here. Let's drop this down. Um, this is the singleton public API. It's not really an API, but whatever. We actually don't need any piece now, I think, about it, because this is a struct, so we might as well. I didn't even realize you could private anything in a struct. Let's just turn it into classing. Cool. So I don't hate this. To be honest, this is okay. It's not brilliant, but it works. We should be able to do this. We are not using the namespace. There we go. So that's not actually really quite what I want, but whatever. Uh, let's just make a window that's CPP. Let's take in. Hey, Copilot has given up on us. So let's just do that. I don't know why Copilot's given up, but maybe it just wants to stay up. We actually won't default that anymore either. I just want to get it compiling earlier. Okay. And then let's include engine slash window.h. We need let's use the namespace again, just so that we can't typing out learning. It's going to get frustrating. Let's sort this out. Need a reference. So I'm actually not too sure whether this is correct here, whether we want to reference a string view or not. I don't know whether this is a performance positive or negative. I mean, a string view is 16 bytes, and a reference will only be 8. Doesn't actually tell us here, but I think it didn't mean to accept whatever that was. It's honestly probably not right. If I do a size of a void pointer, avoid reference. Oh, you can't size of a void reference? Okay. Well, these things no, it's not what I want. How can I reference an L value like that? I don't think I can. It needs to be a constant, or I can't actually reference it. Um, let's size the val. It should 4 bytes. It's ignoring the reference. Interesting. Okay, we could be here a while if I do that. Let's go with this for now. In window, let's have a private. Let's have a. I'd actually rather in text because it's sort of the like OpenGL context. We don't care about that. We do care about that. If Apple, let's plan for compatibility if we ever want it. Right. We should throw an exception in. Very sad. I hate throwing exceptions. Let's set this to the current context. Enable vsync. Let's throw an exception here as well. This is looking fine here as well. We don't necessarily need to do this, but we'll do it anyway. I actually don't really like that. Let's set up callbacks. Let's set an error callback first. Error callbacks are pretty important. So basically, that's just going to print out an error on errors. Um, Key callback we don't really care about that much. And specifically, we don't need to do this at all because we have this. Like the backend will already handle that for us. Um, so we can actually do anything with them. No, let's do it with. And these are both initialized to 0. I always like 0 initializing. Let's also just set up our window deconstructor. Copilot can do that for us. It's relatively simple. Let's just shut down IMGI first, and then shut down GLFW. It's okay, no, let's say destroy. Let's shut down IMGI. I do prefer that. We need to set a user. There it is. And then we can get the window out of the user pointer. It's alright. It's not particularly it's not great, but we do handle keys. And then let's also just do that. We can actually get this through IMGUI, but let's just we'll handle it. Okay, this bit we actually can do. Um, the wind width and height. Okay, so what is this? This is actually an integer. Okay. So we could cast these here, but I'd rather keep. Actually, no. Let's keep the overhead in this rare event because realistically, Windows resizing doesn't happen much. Let's also use a interpret class instead. Let's keep C++ styles. Why can't we do this? Invalid type conversion. Really? What we have? Okay, we can start to pass. Cool, makes sense. Let's also GLB got it. We do actually need a camera to handle some of these properly, but so these we don't actually need a depth test. Don't need an alpha blend. We don't need face culling. We don't need depth clamping. Okay, cool. Copilot is just suggesting all sorts of stuff that we don't need. We will leave that there just in case we want it at some point. What's this? Width is always initialized. Okay. Can we do that? I think we can. Nope, we can't. Let's just split these then. Make sure everything lines up. Everything lines up. Cool, cool, cool. Um, goes. This should be very easy to implement. Please don't confuse. And this is very simple. Yeah. And then, we don't want learning. These things. Yes. I don't know. Is there enough keys to justify? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, okay. Mouse wasn't cool. Okay. Win. There we go. Friend class engine. I actually haven't tried working with friends in C++ before. I think it's worth it. Um, let's actually just ignore mouse input for now. I think we can just use IMGI for that quite happily. It's not a good solution. We don't need mouse input at the moment, though. Just put it that way. We'll sort it at some point. If we ever need it, then it's here. Right. That honestly seems fine. Window.cpp use pch.html period. Learning window. Why do you need a default instructor? That is why. Yeah, so basically all we do is we get the config and then um, we create the window. I mean, not much to it. Okay, so it's saying there's no default instructor. Why does it expect one? The engine constructor defines it. Is it because it's up there? Hmm. Why are you trying to call it constructor? Okay, what if we make it? Oh, still not happy. Why are you trying to construct one though? That's my question. Let's try not doing this. See, my main question though is why are you trying to do that? Does this get called twice now? Yeah, that's horrible, man. Yeah, I'm not surprised if it was. Come on, man. We need you to do it there. Let's ask ChatGPT. Come on, ChatGPT. Save us. What is happening here? See, now that works, but what the hell is that? And that's not a solution either. Oh, I hate it, man. I was slightly worried that was the only fix. I didn't want to believe it, but here we are. Calling the instance 3 times. Cool. Let's just take off that breakpoint. That actually shouldn't have failed. Maybe we will keep this breakpoint after 500. Can we not view these? 12H5720. Learning engine. Why is that failed? I swear it's like that. It is. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Um, the library is not initialized. Very good point. Good observation. Let's show it up here. Cool. Let's hope it doesn't fail to initialize as well. That would be bad. Cool. We have learning engine. Woo. Okay. Test. Let's make this 12 by 122. And you can see we have a slightly misshapen window that doesn't want to go that small. And we have learning engine test. So we're happy now. Let's change that back from that ridiculous size. Right, let's go to engine. It's only 96 bytes, so I'm pretty happy with that. That's not bad. Right, how big is that? That's also 96 bytes. Peculiar. Hmm. Okay. Let's go with. Ooh, quite tired, sorry. We have a window. We have a run API. Let's add a void run. Yeah, I was still even thinking that. It's fine for now, but I won't stay closed. Let's say engine.run. Need to remove this breakpoint. It keeps tripping me up. Okay, let's go to our run function. Let's ignore the annotation. Let's go into here. We can ignore our class constructor. I hope we see as little bit as possible. Good. And then let's. Yeah, we should have spoken about this, but that is true. Let's just make our content. Okay, hopefully we come out with a much darker color now. We do. Hooray. Okay, there's something cast on Windows that is very Windowsy. Um, it's one of those Windows things, you know. And if I open one of my projects, I should be able to find it. Just finding it. Struggling to find it. Still struggling to find it. Hmm. Maybe that's the new version. I swear the new version had it way. And I'm just searching for some of my code. Sorry, this will just take a moment. Yeah, I think it's the new code. The old code is much more horrible. Okay. So this is truly not pleasant. But I don't like the idea of our bar being light mode. So what you have to do is pull dark node is equal to true. Okay, actually, get dark mode from the system registry. And we'll let Copilot fill out this. It's just horrible. I'm sure it is, right? That looks right. But let's just check with the registry whether that's the correct key. I'm 99% sure it is. Um, but there is no biscuit for us yet. And for some reason, I am having some slight trouble in the registry editor. Please don't do this to me, Windows. Okay, let's just go there manually. Software, Microsoft. Where is Microsoft? Sorry, I'll put it on screen. Microsoft, Windows. It's put on the current version. Themes, personalized, and then apps use Lightspeed. Hopefully it will open the one. Yep. Um, okay, let's not do that. And then here we do this. We need to include that, don't worry. And then DWM set window attribute. There we go. Okay. And then in here we will add the DWM API, and we'll also include. Do we need WinReg? I think we do. GLFW slash GLFW as a native header, and that will give us access to things like GLFW get win 32 window. So far it is not happy. This should have. What is if def in this? Okay, there we go. Cool. This is kind of horrible, man, but life, I guess. Um, is that a real error? That's a real error. Why is that a real error? That all looks correct. H17. What's that? What is wrong with that? Okay. Um, maybe it's because. Can I just do it twice? I think I can. Yeah, so. Right. Okay. We need to link to this as well. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Um, can I put a pragma comment in an if then? I can. Oh, wee! Celebration time. We have a dark title bar. Oh dear, this is probably not things that should be done, but and that really wasn't that important of a feature, but we have a dark title bar now. Hooray! And in fact, let's just make it even better. Let me take off that. I don't think I even meant to put that there. Let's grab a color from there. Cool. Let's hope the compiler sorts that out. I hope we aren't doing 3 divisions every frame. But it looks closer now. It looks more. It's not quite there, but you know, it looks a bit like a native window. Let me just check something. And I will also check something else at some time. That's fine. But yeah, I just need to check something. Yep, we are all good. Okay. So let's take a look. Let's go to the Learn OpenGL. I want at least triangle rendering before I go to bed. At least. Bare minimum. Um, okay, so if we go to Hello Triangle, we can actually see all of the wonderful, wonderful OpenGL stuff. First thing I'm gonna do is enable dark reader. Beautiful. Dark reader actually doesn't flip these images, which is really sad. Um, it doesn't have a setting for it either. Didn't know it could do that. Yeah, it doesn't modify images too. So let's turn off dark reader. Yep, there goes your eyes. Sorry about that. Right from the side of JavaScript that will convert the page's colors and shift the hue by 180. I am not a web dev. I kind of meant a wrong line. Thank you. And then if we shove this in here. Ooh, that's not what I was expecting. That actually should have worked. This should make it. Right? Yeah, that's kind of what I expected to happen. Ah, it's fine. We'll just pretend that didn't happen. You know, it's fine. Okay. Let's make a renderer.h. So let's just do this. Let's include a pc.h5. Wonderful. I love including renderers. So the renderer doesn't really need any data. Like, realistically, it kind of just chills out and hangs around. Um, okay. So our engine really only needs to render quads, to be honest with you. Um, let's make quad.h. And if you're wondering why we only need to draw quads, if you think about it, even in 2D games, which is what we're targeting with this engine, um, oops. Okay. If you think about it though, like if you have a player, even if the player is like, I don't know, an ellipse, a beam, um, realistically, the fragment shader is just going to discard these pixels. And in terms of collision, sort of to an extent, in terms of rendering, we're rendering 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices, and then use the EBO, sorry, just to get those to coordinate with each other, and we're all good. I mean, there's no point in rendering custom shapes in a 2D engine. I mean, there is, but it's not that justifiable, to be honest. Um, I mean, what you can do is you can do ear clipping and have it in the engine's UI that you can like draw out a custom shape, ear clip it, and then do that. But as I say, it's not really worth it. Eventually I would like that, but like that will be built into a different rendering bit of the pipeline. Um, because if we do quads, we can actually probably build some of the textures into an atlas or something. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. Um, and then instance them and just draw loads of sprites at once. It might be beautiful. It might be terrible. We will find out. So let's have a class called quad. So quad a metadata type to represent a quad. This later on. Let's remember it. Okay, so it's not like actually the data. Well, it is a data. It is the data. Sorry. Um, but for example, the quad data isn't in here because why would you put the quad data in here? You're just going to duplicate, what is it? A float 32 bits, 4 bytes. You have three of them for position. We have, let's think about it. Um, 6, 12 bytes. Uh, 1, 2, 3 for X, Y, Z. Um, that's 12 bytes there. Times that by 4, 48 bytes, plus some indices, which I think are 32-bit as well. That's another 24, 48 plus 24. You get the picture. Like, duplicate that 1,000 times and it matters a tiny bit. Still not a lot. Um, I'm sorry, this is really way too early on, but I would just like to look into the Bullet API. I know it's way too early on. I know we're nowhere close to physics. I want to look at it though. I'm sorry, my brain is jumping over there. So let's look at examples. We have a basic demo. We have a basic example. Okay, so they have their own linear map. That's cool. We might have to start using that. I don't know. We'll find out. Um, common rigid body base. What is this? It's a common example in space. Okay, so it's part of the example. Yeah, common spaces. Cool. We'll just ignore that then. What do you do in render? Oh, search the symbol. Virtual void render scene. Sync physics to graphics. Interesting. Let's look at the render. Let's look at the real render, hopefully. Mm, maybe won't. They like their OOP, don't they? Tiny render, I don't know what library this uses. Is Tiny Render a library? Tiny Renderer. Brief computer graphics. Okay, it's its own thing. I did not know about this. Do I know Sloyd? No. Um, they make cool stuff. What is this? To boom in 180. That sounds quite cool. Okay. Uh, let's look at this. Huh? Wait, so this does this use? Okay, that's impressive. Um, 100 let's go. Okay, how big? Yeah, that's fine. What is this? Okay, that's just models. I'm confused now. They use their own GL. I don't think they use anything like GLFW or anything. That's impressive. Cool. Wait, no, that's what I wanted. Are there any other renderers I can look at that I'm more familiar with? No, but this looks fine. Okay, this isn't helpful, man. This is. I'll look into it at some point. Let's render a triangle. Woo! Woo! Excitement. Um, maybe we should. Nah, let's just do it anyway. Thank you, Copilot. Still, I was just about figured out what we're doing. Let's add the rotation. We are doing purely 2D. Realistically, if you rotate on any other axis, stop it. That's all I have to say. Um, the renderer. What does the renderer care about? Um, not a lot. These are in the wrong spot, and this is spelled wrong. Spelled wrong. It's not wrong, but it's not right. Cool, nothing important happening. Um, let's go into private. Wow, that's an impressive one. Let's try using a normal set. Um, thank you very much, Visual Studio. That is exactly what I was trying to type. Let me include it then. That's horrible. That's so strong. Thanks. Why not? Yeah. Let's just put an else here and include your FW that way. Cool. Um, std/stl. We need an unordered set. Right. Um, unordered set of objects. A unordered set is a fast between. Yeah, I think as far as I'm aware, unordered set versus vector. I'm pretty sure an unordered set is quicker. Ooh, I see you need a hash function. I forgot about that. And then you can't have. Yeah. Okay, we can't do that. We can't do that. We can't do that. Let's switch back to the vector. Um, we'll look into faster storage at some point. But for now, it's not that important. The biggest problem is that when we it's a mess. It's fine. So we need to include quad. Okay, so we need to include engines. That's what. Okay. So we now have a vector quad. Let's zero initialize this. Well, not zero initialize, but let's make sure it isn't set to anything by default. So let's say render all quads. Let's not put any implementation here. Let's hop over to renderer.cpp and include engine/renderer.h. Okay, how long is the stream going now? A little bit over an hour. So let's go through, let's get the end. Let's let's try to go as fast as possible. What is this actually? CPU. How big is this? Size of NCP. 24 bytes. It is worth using a reference. Um, turns out that if you don't do plus plus it, you are actually copying the value. Don't do that. Don't make that for me. Let's log info render please. Okay, let's define a scene.h. Let's take the oh, what was that? What did I just do? I moved that. I did not want to do that. Okay. We have our renderer here. Our renderer actually probably shouldn't go through these quads directly. Um, as pleasant as it is to do that, it's not actually quite right. We could load scenes into the renderer directly, or we could have a scene and then it might hurt cache, like the CPU cache. We might be able to get this faster if we keep the vector here, have a scene, and have a void load from load scene. Load scene uses SED move Nah, I think it's probably best just to clone actually. Hmm. I don't know what to do here. Peculiar, peculiar, peculiar. What to do? Let's have we'll check nothing interesting. Um yeah, let's keep the vector here, just for the sake of speed. That's gonna be very hot. Like one of the hottest parts members. Um let's go to our scene. We don't have a scene yet. That's so disappointing. We do have a scene. Am I not paying attention? I was, but to the wrong bit. Um, there's a class scene. Um, let's make some stuff. I've been forgetting to initiate this in learning. I haven't included PCH, and I've probably forgotten learning in multiple other places, like here. No space. Learning. Okay. Um, void property renderer to renderer. Oh, but that means a renderer has to have its quads up for public. Oh, I don't like this. It also means you can't render the scene, modify the scene directly. Let's actually just switch this up. Um, and it also hurts, but let's do that. Mm, void set scene. Okay, that really hurts performance having an option there actually. Not really hurts, but it's not great. Like it's not ideal. Because we have to do house value checks on it. Um okay, it's really not a big deal. I'm making quite a big deal out of a tiny thing. But it is the overhead is real. It's just tiny. And I don't like it. Um let's do this. And then we can dive into the choices. Render it once, you will literally check. That's not an option anymore, but we can do that. Um, why are you unhappy? Because you aren't using running inches. Now you're happy, but you need to be seen. Thank you, Visual Studio. I really appreciate when you do that. It just makes my life so much easier. No more Visual Studio. Cool, cool, cool. Yep. Can you close? I have task option. Thank you. Oh, we're restarting now. I would like to recover actually. Thank you. I wonder if they built in those recovery features because of situations like that. See, it might be the SVM, but I really, honestly, the time I spend recovering from crashes is less than the time that I'd lose by uninstalling the extension. So, yeah, sucks. I actually don't know whether it's the extension or not, but it might be. They think it is, but don't know whether that's true or not. I don't know what their logic is to check. Maybe the plugin is actually locking up. I don't know. I've also had bizarre crashes on Visual Studio without it though, so could be it. Might not be. Not worth finding out to be honest. Um, let's pop through here. Um, let's not bother with that. Um, oh no. And it's also not a function. Cool. This scene quads. What's wrong with this? What if I come to you? You're not a function. And then let's just do that. Cool. The engine, you can store a nice little renderer. That needs to be included. Renderer, you need a set scene function. You already have one. Cool, you're on the go. You're ready. Raring to go. That's horrible. Can I do that? I don't know if I can do that. Renderer is forgetting PC stage. Okay, I think I might be able to do that. Also, let's just hide away this atrocity that I have for. I took reverse. Oh, I see, that's quite cool. Enabling the dark mode private. Forward compatibility on macOS. Okay. We can just cover that up. We can actually inline this. Make it a smidgen faster. Actually, inline both of these. These are only suggestions to the compiler, but meh. See, I never know what to do with these. So, do you want me to inline them here, or do I have to inline them by defining them in a function? Or and what if I just force inline them and then don't define them? What if I force inline them here? This is the one thing that's it's always confusing. Where do I define inlines and stuff? See, now you're unhappy again. Makes me think I shouldn't do this. But now you're upset anyway. So what if I do that, right, and then I don't do it here? You're unhappy. Okay, let's just not do that. Okay. I want to be able to create a new scene. Okay, please. It's wonderful little constructor. Um, and then let's rename this to game object. Let's go Unity style. No more quad. That actually looks okay. Um, yeah, it's fine. Um, cool. Um, what are we doing? Random code at 2:30 in the morning. Cool, 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 cool. What else would be expected? Scene can also have a nice little constructor where it takes in a const as a span, which we don't have defined. What file? That's probably PCH, isn't it? Cool. So we can actually skip that and just do scene passing quad. Why didn't that work? A scene should construct from a span. Ugh. But that's a span of references. Oh wait, there's a reference to this one. Does that work? Why are you work? Works. Whatever. OBJ. What a lovely name. Um, we now have a scene. I'm sure, yeah, that doesn't make any difference yet. Let's comment this line out for now. We should be expecting, yep, a lot of warnings. However, if we set a scene, we should see a bunch of render, please. Please, yes. Cool. This API once again isn't that bad. Um, let's also just rotate this by 45 degrees. We shouldn't see any difference, hopefully. Yep, we have render please. We have our window still. Cool. Um, I actually quite like this API. Suddenly, to me, it seems quite nice. Um, the only thing I don't like is that it's really unclear to the user. Um, the fact that you have to define engine config before you can call get instance, and that might seem crazy. Also, when did I inline that? No, the compiler did that. Lovely. Um, the user doesn't know the fact that get instance actually calls the constructor for the first time when you call it for the first time. Um, so the engine config must actually you must call get instance on it and define its stuff before you call get instance on the engine. Because if you don't do that, then it's going to ignore the engine config. I don't know if there's a better way to do that, to be honest with you. I also wonder if there's a way to do that nicer. Yeah, I think that's nicer. What did I just do? Did I Alt F4 or something? I don't know what I did. Hmm. Hmm. Do do do. 1 second. All right. Let's get working on the rendering. I feel that's quite important. I mean, that's true. Um, let's have a static constant for float. Uh, that's actually very accurate. That's also very accurate. Good job. Let's check that is accurate. Um, so we can actually see. Let's draw down a square. Let's draw down a line through the square. Okay. Um, Okay, so that's negative 0.5. If you don't understand how drawing a quad works in OpenGL, this would actually be quite helpful for you, most likely. So the second pair is the y coordinate. So I'm actually just going to put in the middle 0, 0. Oh god, that's an accident. You use that. Let's do 0, 0.0, 0, 0.0, 0. Okay, so you can actually see these vertices line up. So this one is so this one is 0. And let's put the IDs in red. And then the next one is that one. And that's 1. And then 2 is top right. So you can actually see how the normals are counterclockwise as well. So it wants to pair up 0, 1, and 2 into a triangle. And then it wants to pair up 2, 3, and 0. And now we have a quad. Let's also bring this to the front. Okay, and okay, you can see how we're running a quad. And we've also just validated that these work as correct values. And since these are context spirit, they should actually get templated into the code down here, always as if it was a hashtag defined. But it's type safe. Lovely. Um, okay. Set the shader. We don't actually have this yet. Set the model matrix. We don't have that yet either. We don't have that either. We don't have that yet. Uh, I guess. So it's going to be a major to-do item if I do it that way. The fact that if we do this, we switch VAO, VBO, and EBO every single frame. However many times there's a game object, however many game objects there are, it's the amount of times that we bind those and rebind them. So there's there's a couple of things we could do. We could either just suck it up and do that and bite the bullet. Performance costs, ouch. Or um, we could make a building system where every time you add a game object, it rebuilds the VO, VBO, and EBO. I want to go to bed. Let's do it the stupid way for tonight. No, let's not. Sleep is for the weak. Don't take that as advice. VAO, VBO, EBO, shader. We don't have shaders yet. We do need shaders quite badly, so let's just ignore those entirely. So this is actually really important. Our build of these must match up completely to the T. So the renderer needs to be informed of any changes to the scene at all. Um, when we get to instancing, this won't matter at all. Like this won't be a problem. Um, but we're not instancing yet, so ouch. Oh, or we could do that. Can we also? Okay, that's terrible. That is one of the no. We're going to bed. I'm sorry. All right. We'll pick up tomorrow. We've got a window running. We've got the beginnings of a rendering system. I might look into instancing before I stream again, and maybe we'll just go straight for instancing instead of going in between with this scene system where, well, we'll always have a scene system, but in between where we have to rebuild dirty scenes, um, it'd be a lot nicer than rebuilding, because in mobile game engine, when you got to like a couple thousand game objects, um, if you had like a gun shooting system, obviously if you do physical bullets where you actually shoot another object, um, that needed to rebuild the entire scene. So it needed to rebuild 3,000 objects. And the only way I could really see around that was to actually just straight up have a generational build system where any game objects that were really old, uh, so for example, your map would get put in there eventually. Um, your map, since it's old, would get put into the old generation, and that wouldn't be rebuilt every time an object like a bullet was formed, because those bullets would be in their own generation. That's really short-lived. But it's not a great solution. I'd rather do instancing. We'd rather go quick. We want to go fast. We don't want slow stuff. So yeah. Um, I'll look into that before I stream again. Thank you for everyone who watched. I hope you all have a great day, night, whatever it is for you, morning, I suppose. That's what it is here. Sort of. You know what I mean. Alright, see ya.